Ask any frequent flyer what they'd pay extra for, and most won't say legroom or champagne. They'll say sleep, the kind that makes you land knowing which country you're in. The funny part? Airplanes quietly sabotage that dream. Bright cabin lights, dry air, mystery meals, and seats that recline just enough to frustrate you. It's almost impressive how many ways one flight can keep you awake. Yet some travelers still pull it off. They step off red eyes looking rested, while everyone else stumbles out like they've survived a mild apocalypse. It's not magic, it's method. Small habits that start hours before takeoff. What you drink, what you eat, how you dress, even where you sit. When you get those right, everything changes. The cabin hums, the lights stay bright, a baby cries 2 rows up, and you drift off anyway, peaceful as if someone pressed mute on the world. That's the moment flying stops being something you endure and becomes something you quietly master. And before we go further, a quick warning. One of these sleep tricks could actually get you kicked off a plane if you misuse it. Sounds dramatic? You'll see why when we reach tip 13. For now, let's start with something far less risky, but just as crucial: your coffee habit. If there's one habit that ruins more late-night flights than crying babies, it's caffeine. Most travelers think, I'll just grab one quick cup before boarding. It's harmless. It isn't. At altitude, your body already works overtime to balance air pressure and sleep rhythm, and caffeine crashes that system like bad Wi-Fi. Coffee, energy drinks, even that innocent Diet Coke, they linger in your bloodstream long after you expect them to fade. What feels like a friendly boost at the gate turns into a 4-hour rave in your head when the cabin lights dim. And then there's alcohol. It looks like relaxation in a glass, but in the cabin's low humidity, it acts more like a sleep thief in disguise. You'll nod off fast, only to wake up foggy, thirsty, and half convinced you've aged 5 years overnight. Instead, think of water as your quiet upgrade. Sip through the flight, don't chug. Bring your own bottle, fill it after security, and let the flight attendants top it up midair. That slow rhythm keeps your energy steady and your body happy without chaining you to the lavatory line. Craving something warm? Go for herbal tea, chamomile, peppermint, or ginger. They calm your system instead of tricking it into another time zone. Plus, there's something oddly powerful about sitting in economy class, pinky out, pretending your tea bag is fine wine. And yes, you'll meet people who swear they can drink espresso and sleep like a rock. Sure they can, right until their heart rate reminds them it's still 3 a.m. somewhere. Skip the caffeine, skip the booze, and your body will finally stop fighting you for control. On a long flight, that's half the victory. Airline meals always start the same way. Chicken or fish? The question feels harmless until you remember both come with the same side dish: regret. People often forget that your body doesn't care it's dinner time on the ground. It's reacting to altitude, pressure, and stress. So that harmless second bread roll or creamy pasta you couldn't resist, they turn your stomach into a slow cooker at 35,000 feet. While your brain's begging for sleep, your body's still running a food marathon. If you want to rest, think small and steady. Eat something your stomach already trusts: crackers, rice, maybe half a sandwich. Light and boring always wins. Now, science actually backs this up. A high-carb meal, especially with low GI carbs like whole grain pasta, can help you fall asleep faster and improve REM sleep by boosting serotonin, that mellow, sleepy hormone your body loves. It's the perfect combo when the cabin lights soften and your energy naturally starts to fade. The twist is in the details. High GI carbs, like white pasta or those sugary muffins, do the opposite. They'll knock you out early, then jolt you awake an hour later when your blood sugar hits turbulence. Lean protein, like chicken or turkey, can quietly do you a favor too. In moderate portions, it keeps your energy even and prevents those mid-flight wake-ups. It's not about choosing sides, it's about balance and timing. And please, skip the I'm starving airport meal before boarding. Burritos, fried noodles, anything smothered in sauce, they all expand their drama once the cabin climbs. Even fizzy drinks get rebellious at altitude. Those bubbles double in size and suddenly your jeans feel like they've joined the seatbelt policy. Keep it light, keep it balanced, and see food for what it really is up there. A way to help your body slow down and settle in before the quiet part of the flight begins. Everyone loves the idea of stepping off a plane looking stylish. But here's the truth. Nobody's judging your outfit at 3 a.m. over the Atlantic. They're just trying to survive the same recycled air. Forget dressing to impress. Focus on feeling like your seat isn't working against you. That starts with layers. Light, flexible, easy to peel off when the cabin turns tropical, or pile back on when the air gets cold enough to keep sushi fresh. Think breathable fabrics, cotton, bamboo, or modal. Anything that lets your skin breathe. Tight jeans, underwire bras, or stiff jackets? That's a fast track to the "why can't I get comfortable" spiral. If your clothes pinch when you sit, imagine how they'll feel 5 hours later when you're trying to nap between turbulence. Nothing beats soft joggers and a zip-up hoodie. A cardigan or thin pullover works too, especially if you can wrap it around your waist when boarding. The trick is versatility. You want to adjust to cabin climate roller coaster without doing a full costume change in row 32. And let's talk shoes. Slip-ons are your best friend. Something you can slide off and on without playing Twister under the seat. Save the laces and the fashion boots for the destination. Here's a small upgrade. Bring a large scarf or wrap. It's a blanket, a head cover, a neck pillow, or a personal fort depending on how creative you get. Plus, when the person next to you insists on using their reading light for 3 straight hours, you'll thank yourself for the extra fabric shield. If you tend to feel cold easily, a light beanie works wonders too. Flight attendants call it the unofficial sleep signal. Once that hat goes on, everyone knows you're not available for small talk. And whatever you do, leave behind anything that squeaks, sparkles, or needs ironing. Flying turns into endurance mode at 35,000 feet, and the last thing you need is a wardrobe that argues with you. We all promise ourselves we'll sleep once we're on the plane. Then the Wi-Fi connects, the seatbelt sign dings, and somehow we're 3 episodes deep into a show we don't even like. Blame it on biology. Blue light from screens tricks your body into thinking it's broad daylight, even as the cabin settles into a low amber hush. That warm tone suppresses melatonin, the signal that tells every cell it's time to power down. So your body's running on empty while your thoughts are still doing laps. Give your eyes a break at least half an hour before you plan to drift off. Power down, lower the brightness, or flip on airplane mode and treat it as your quiet time. And yes, that includes skipping just one last reel. The internet will still be there when you land. If you need a distraction, trade pixels for paper. A dull magazine or an old travel guide can do wonders. The point isn't to learn, it's to let your thoughts unwind. I once brought a tax booklet on purpose. 10 minutes later, I was out cold. Sound helps too. White noise, rain, or mellow jazz can smooth out the cabin hum and help your thoughts settle into rhythm. Some people prefer brown noise, deeper and steadier, like a heartbeat that quietly rocks you to sleep. And when your mind won't stop running errands for tomorrow, write it down. Empty your thoughts onto paper, close it, and let the day end there. That simple habit outperforms any sleep aid money can buy. Your screen can wait, your body's rhythm can't. Sometimes you'll be like this while packing. Do I really need all this stuff? You do. Because airplanes are built for safety, not sleep. Between the cabin buzz, flickering lights, and constant motion, your seat isn't restful by default. The right items turn it into a small personal space where you can finally switch off. Let's be honest, the free eye masks airlines hand out are more like polite suggestions. If you want real rest, pack your own. Look for one that blocks light completely but still lets your eyes move freely. Contoured or 3D styles do it best. They stay in place, don't crush lashes, and don't turn your face into a pressure experiment. Soft microfiber or silk feels best against the skin. Cheap nylon scratches like a bad sweater. And the moment you wake to bright cabin lights but stay in perfect darkness, that's your win right there. Inflatable U-shaped pillows are basically hope in fabric form. They look helpful until your head starts bobbing like it's keeping the beat. Structured wrap designs like the TRTL actually support the neck and jaw, so you can drift off without that jolt awake every 10 minutes. The fleece stays warm, and the cover's washable. Trust me, you'll care about that halfway through a red-eye. The cabin never truly goes quiet. Engines thrum, carts roll, and someone always finds a way to overshare at cruising altitude. Up there, silence doesn't just appear. You have to build it. Noise-canceling headphones can turn chaos into background static. They filter out the drone and chatter, leaving you in your own bubble of stillness. If you'd rather go minimalist, foam or silicone earplugs work surprisingly well. They're tiny, cheap, and can make the world fade just enough for rest. On a plane, your seat decides your night. Pick right, and the hours glide by. Pick wrong, and you'll count every minute until landing. Most flyers have their version of a dream setup. For some, it's the window seat, your private wall, no foot traffic, and a built-in headrest. For others, it's the aisle, freedom to stand up without performing interpretive dance over two strangers. The middle seat? That's for people who believe in personal growth through suffering. If you're trying to sleep, the window usually takes the crown. It gives you control over the shade, fewer interruptions, and something solid to lean on. I once chose the left window on a United flight from New York to LA. I tend to lean left when I drift off, and that small change completely transformed my rest. But hold that thought, because if you want to dodge turbulence, the next tip's for you. Avoid the last few rows. Most of them don't recline, and they come with the soundtrack of toilets and galley doors. Bulkhead seats might look tempting for legroom, but they're also near crew prep areas, where carts roll, lights flicker early, and conversations never really stop. For a smoother ride, aim for seats near the wings. That's the aircraft's balance point: less sway, fewer drink spills, and no surprise roller coaster moments when the air gets lively. If you're tall or get restless easily, the aisle shines for freedom. Just remember, armrest etiquette is sacred law. The middle seat gets both. It's their only consolation prize. In the end, the seat you choose shapes the flight you have. Make that choice with intention. Rest comes easier, and you'll be ready for the next rule that decides when to fly, not just where to sit. Timing matters more than most travelers realize. The same seat, same plane, but change the takeoff time, and the entire experience feels different. One flight glides by, the other feels like a marathon with your eyelids as the finish line. If you're flying long haul, choose a flight that matches your natural sleep window. Night schedules help your system ease into rest because darkness signals your body to wind down. Day flights, on the other hand, keep your senses on alert long past when they'd normally power off. For routes from the US to Europe, aim for a late evening departure, around 7 or 8 p.m. You'll eat, settle in, and by the time the lights fade, your body's ready to drift. You land at sunrise feeling like you actually crossed time zones, not centuries. Morning flights? Great for short hops, not for survival missions. Perfect if you just need to get somewhere and still have the day ahead, but a disaster for anything longer. Your body can't decide whether it's waking up or winding down. You spend hours in limbo, eyes open, mind foggy, wondering why sleep never showed up. My friend once tested both on back-to-back trips to Tokyo. The night route gave him 5 solid hours of sleep. The morning one turned into 12 hours of caffeine, movies, and regret. Timing shapes everything that happens once you board. If you want an edge, start shifting your bedtime a day or two before you fly. An hour earlier if you're heading east. An hour later if you're flying west. It's a quiet trick that helps your internal timer adjust before jet lag even knows it's invited. And when possible, land with the light. Sunlight recalibrates your internal timer faster than any supplement ever could. Step outside, feel that real warmth hit your skin, and your body gets the message: we've arrived. You finally drifted off. The cabin lights are low, and for once, everything feels calm, until a gentle tap on your shoulder ends it all. Excuse me, can I see your seatbelt? If you've flown Delta or United long enough, you know that moment too well. That split second of confusion when you're half awake, trying to figure out what's happening. That's the kind of interruption no traveler enjoys, and it's completely avoidable. The smart move: keep your seatbelt fastened over your blanket, not under it. It seems minor, but it makes a big difference. When the belt's visible, flight attendants can confirm you're safely strapped in without waking you. Airlines actually encourage this. It's not a strict rule, just a safety practice that helps everyone stay settled when the seatbelt sign lights up. You still stay warm, the buckle still works, and you won't get that late-night shoulder tap every time the plane hits a rough patch. Your body loves patterns. It doesn't care if you're in your own bed or seat 42A. It just wants the same signals that whisper, "Hey, it's bedtime." That's why keeping parts of your nightly routine makes such a difference. Brush your teeth, wash your face, maybe change into a fresh shirt or travel loungewear. These subtle signals tell your mind it's time to ease up, even in a cabin full of strangers. Have you ever tried keeping a routine mid-flight? The first time I ignored mine, I spent the entire night tossing half-dazed, wondering why my body refused to shut down. Turns out, skipping those familiar steps confused it more than the jet lag ever did. And once you've done all that, the cabin slips into low light, your seat reclines, the steady hum softens, that's when comfort takes over. This is the moment to fine-tune the details that decide whether you drift off or spend hours pretending to. A frequent traveler once shared a funny mishap on her London route. She tied her hair in a high bun before takeoff, leaned back, and woke up feeling like she'd napped on a brick. Lesson learned: style might take the photos, but comfort gets the sleep. If you have a bedtime ritual at home, maybe a few stretches or some quiet breathing, do a mini version on board. Familiar gestures calm your system far better than any sleep app. Try the 4-7-8 breathing pattern. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. It slows your pulse, steadies your thoughts, and helps you drift naturally. And before you settle in, make that last quick stop at the lavatory. Nothing ruins a good rest faster than realizing your bladder's running on a different schedule. You can't bring your bed on board, but you can recreate the rhythm. Stick to your signals, and your body will know exactly what to do, no matter what time zone you're flying through. Every layover promises adventure until you're sprinting through terminals at 3 a.m., clutching a half-spilled latte, wondering why you ever thought 2 short flights sounded easier. When it comes to sleeping well, nothing beats a non-stop route. One long stretch in the same seat lets your body settle into its groove and actually stay there. 2 shorter flights? That means 2 takeoffs, 2 landings, 2 rounds of cabin lights, safety briefings, and turbulence you didn't ask for. A non-stop gives you flow, the rare luxury of falling asleep and staying asleep. You don't have to start over every time the wheels hit the runway. It's also a sanity saver. Layovers sound manageable on paper, but your system doesn't calm down that easily. Airport air, bright lights, and boarding stress kick your alert mode back on right when you are finally relaxing. Now, if a stop is unavoidable, here's how I survive it. I always pick connections around 90 minutes, just enough to refresh without restarting. Picture it. You stretch, refill your bottle, maybe grab a snack, and by the time you walk to the next gate, you're already boarding again. Smooth, no waiting, no camping by the outlets. Whenever you can, go for the single hop. Your sleep cycle, your patience, and your spine will all thank you. That continuous stretch of flight time turns travel from a shuffle of interruptions into one smooth journey. By the time you land, you don't look rushed, you look ready. There's a secret most long-haul travelers quietly swear by, and it's not a neck pillow or sleep spray. It's compression socks. You don't notice how little you move on a plane until you stand up after 10 hours and your legs feel like they've been vacuum sealed. Cabin pressure and stillness slow circulation, letting fluid pool in your lower legs. That's why your ankles swell, your calves throb, and your shoes suddenly feel half a size too tight. Compression socks counter all that by applying gentle, even pressure to keep blood flowing. They prevent swelling, stiffness, and the dreaded balloon feet, moment after a long flight. Plenty of frequent flyers back this up. One traveler wrote, "Arriving without my feet swollen to twice their size felt like heaven." Another joked that after trying them once, they now wear compression socks on flights, road trips, even at their desk jobs. And doctors agree. They help reduce the risk of DVT, those deep vein clots no one wants to deal with midair. If you're buying a pair, skip the flimsy ones at airport kiosks. Go for knee-high or over-the-calf travel-grade socks with firm, even compression. Some are thicker and add warmth. Others are lightweight and breathable. Choose the fabric that fits how you fly. Slip them on before takeoff and keep them on until landing. You'll notice the difference immediately. Lighter legs, better circulation, and no awkward hobble through arrivals. The seat recline debate has probably ended more friendships than middle seats ever did. But if you want real rest and economy, learning how and when to recline is an art form. Once the meal service is done and the lights start to dim, that's your cue. Don't slam your seat back like a catapult. Ease into it. A gentle recline, slow and steady, gives the person behind you time to adjust, and you both end up more comfortable for it. The sweet spot? Around 135 degrees. That's the ideal angle for your spine. Though to be fair, most economy seats won't go anywhere near that. You'll get closer to 110, maybe 120 if you're lucky. But hey, why not see how far it'll go? Every extra inch helps. There's always that one passenger who drifts off like they've been tranquilized while everyone else is still fighting gravity. They've nailed the balance, somewhere between upright discipline and full body surrender. Your spine hates sharp angles, but loves smooth curves. The key is balance. Hips deep in the seat, shoulders relaxed, and a small cushion or hoodie behind your lower back for support. Even a folded sweater can save you from that post-flight ache. And don't underestimate the little adjustments. Shift your weight every hour or two. Stretch your feet under the seat and roll your shoulders occasionally. Those micro movements keep blood flowing and stop your back from turning into a question mark by landing time. Airplanes are flying metal tubes filled with recycled air, so whatever you smell, everyone else does too. We all want to smell good, but there's a fine line between pleasant and perfume grenade. That spritz of cologne that feels subtle on the ground can hit like a wall of roses, or worse, once you're sealed inside a pressurized cabin. One viewer once wrote in about a long flight to Europe where the passenger next to him had clearly overcommitted to body spray. By hour 3, the scent had turned dense enough to rival the in-flight fog. It didn't make anyone sick, but it made breathing feel like an endurance sport. A good rule of thumb up here: if the scent lingers longer than a minute, it's already too strong. Skip perfumes, body sprays, and heavily scented lotions. Even essential oils can trigger migraines or allergies for people nearby. If you need freshness, go discreet. Unscented wipes, mint gum, or a tiny roll-on deodorant. Choose subtle fabrics too. Clean cotton or a hoodie you've worn before. A soft personal scent from home feels grounding, not overwhelming. Airplanes already have enough aromas competing for attention. Coffee, reheated meals, and that mysterious "what is that?" waft from somewhere in row 28. Be the passenger who adds calm, not confusion, to the mix. Your seatmates might never say it out loud, but if your scent game stays subtle, they'll silently thank you all the way to landing. There's a point on every long flight when you've tried everything. Music, eye mask, even counting the beeps of the seatbelt sign, and sleep still won't come. That's when the thought hits. Maybe a little help wouldn't hurt. Thing is, most sleep aids don't mix well with cabin life. The pressure, dry air, and limited movement all make your body react differently than it would at home. What feels mild in your bedroom can hit like a tranquilizer at 35,000 feet. But if you truly need a hand drifting off, start gentle. Herbal options like chamomile, valerian root, or melatonin can nudge your system without knocking you out completely. And hey, remember to test them at home first. You don't want any surprises midair. Prescription pills, though, are another story. They can push you into such a deep sleep that you miss hydration breaks, turbulence alerts, or even someone trying to step past you to the aisle. That kind of heavy sleep in a cramped seat often leads to waking up groggy, dry-mouthed, and disoriented. Some travelers who struggle with insomnia and find that no in-flight comfort trick ever works turn to prescription sedatives as a last resort. They usually drift off quickly, but many describe waking up disconnected, like their body landed before their brain caught up. However, there's still one final trick that outperforms every pill, and it starts long before you even reach the airport. Good in-flight sleep doesn't begin in the air. It starts hours before you ever reach the gate. That's because the body rests best when it's earned it. A long-haul flight after a lazy day? Forget it. Your mind's wired, your legs are restless, and your body's got energy to burn. But walk a few miles, stretch, or fit in a light workout before heading to the airport. And you're setting yourself up to feel better settled once you board. You can spot the difference right away. The passengers who moved before the flight are already nodding off, while everyone else is still trying to force sleep instead of letting it happen. It's a quiet kind of victory. Many travelers count on this ritual. Some go for a brisk walk around the terminal. Others sneak in a quick gym session before packing. One even said he rides his bike to the airport, checks in, and is asleep before the plane leaves the gate. It's not theory, it's muscle memory. A bit of movement a few hours before flying helps your body unwind, lowers tension, and builds the natural pressure that makes real sleep possible. Just don't push it too far. Exhaustion isn't the goal. You want relaxed, not wrecked. Overdo it, and you'll board sore and dehydrated, which defeats the point. Think light and steady, enough to feel your heartbeat rise, not enough to need a recovery day. What most people miss, though, is that movement helps even when you can't fit in a full pre-flight workout. During layovers, skip the lounge once in a while. Walk a few laps of the concourse. Your future self, somewhere over the ocean, will thank you for it. You know that rare feeling when you wake up midair, stretch, and realize you actually slept? It's rare, but it happens when the little things finally line up in your favor. Different people find it in different ways: a quiet window seat, a soft hoodie, a few deep breaths before takeoff. For others, it's simply the calm that comes from knowing everything's under control. However it shows up, the feeling's unmistakable: stillness in a place that never really stands still. Flying will always have its noise, its bumps, its bright cabin lights. But once you figure out what helps your body settle, even the loudest flight starts to feel like your own quiet sky. And when the wheels touch down, there's a kind of energy waiting. The clear-headed kind that makes you ready to start exploring, not recovering. If this video gave you something worth trying on your next flight, give it a like, share it with someone who never sleeps on planes, and tell me in the comments what worked for you. See you somewhere between takeoff and touchdown, and may your next flight finally feel like sleep.